Greetings, everybody on Personal Gov. I got the wonderful honor of having my son on here, James Jr. Uh, so I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about his journey. But we're gonna start out with this opening question. Let's tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. What you're doing, and let's discuss your why. Why didn't you want to fall into lockstep with a lot of what my generation have done in terms of, oh, you're going to work, we're going to go to school, get education, work a corporate, job for 30, 40 years, retire. Why wasn't that appealing for you? And what's your why? So I'm going to let you take over.
Okay, so my actual entrepreneurial steps, as far as what I'm doing, is clothing. So right now, kind of using a print-on-demand site, eliminates your upfront costs, and gives you opportunity to build your brand and have a platform to start things. And it also gives you opportunity to use work that you've already done. So not eliminates, but it does cut down a lot of the time that it takes as far as building merchandise. And it also gives you a wide variety of things to offer as well to individuals without having upfront funds. My why is, obviously talking to you, some of our conversations of things that you missed because you had to work too much, or just time that you feel like you couldn't get back, out of our lives, working 70, 80 hours a week and just doing whatever you had to do to make things work. And me having my son, I don't want to miss those times with, at the hospital. I was sick, so that was time away from him when he was born. So I delivered him, went straight to the ER. When he was born, I was working 80 hours a week, had 2 jobs, just wasn't seeing him. And, there's nothing wrong with working with someone else. If you have a career or a passion that it calls for working for somebody else, if that works better for you, then that's great. But me, the time that I had to put in was a lot of time, away from my son. So I don't want to miss games, or if he in science fairs, I don't want to miss that. I want to have control over my time, and just opportunity to be able to provide something for him. Even right now, I do have a career, and my career is decent paying, so I'm okay as far as financially. It's just that I can't give him this. When he's 18, I can refer him, but he still got to get the interview. He still got to like the position. He still have to be able to excel at the position. Whereas building something for myself that creates on its own, I can give that to him. He walk into this, whether he good at art, whether he good at business, whether he know how to do it or not, I can provide that to him. He can get it and still be financially sound, or at least have a financial base to build something for himself. So that's my why.
That's awesome. I want to touch on a few pieces, kind of pull that apart a bit. Like, for
Okay.
one thing, I like the fact that you were saying, hey, by doing this print on demand, I have either little or no upfront costs. So that's really important, especially for, let's say, the early stage and under-resourced entrepreneurs, right? Because a lot of times
Exactly.
it's, man, I ain't got no money. I don't. So this was a pretty innovative way of taking advantage of that. But what I also really like is the fact that you're saying, hey, I can take some of the stuff I already got because I'm an artist, and I can repurpose art that I already got. So that's
Exactly.
really good. So that's, I'm always big about talking about, you know, using your current resources to expand them. So, hey, I already got some art. I can take this and repurpose it and, put it on T-shirts, put it on coffee
Exactly.
mugs, and so on and so forth. So I like that. But I really like the piece where you say you want control over your time. So I want to kind of give you a little pushback on that because,
Okay.
if somebody is watching this, they're going to say, but yeah, it's hard. It ain't easy being an entrepreneur. You may have to work 80 hours, maybe, more, getting your entrepreneur thing, especially for it to really thrive, when you
Exactly.
take it, full time. So what would you say about that?
I didn't say you work less. I just said you have control over when you work. So your hours, your son has a game at 7 p.m., if you got a job where you work 10 to 8, you got to call off, or you got to leave early, or you have to ask permission to be able to make it to that game. When you own your own company, or you own your own product, or you self-employed, you still gonna have to make up them hours because you're production based, and not working means no money. However, if this game is at 7, you just go at 7. You may make them up at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So you don't work less. You just control when you work. You can put in all your production Monday through Wednesday and be off Thursday through Sunday. Your production is based on what you want to make and what you need to do for yourself. If you want to make millions of dollars, then obviously you put in more time. If you're somebody who are content with a specific living, you don't have a high cost of living, you scale back what you work, and maybe you put more of an emphasis on time that you have available with your family, but you have control over your time. Yeah, you'll make less money if you work less. Yeah, it'll take longer to get whatever you have popping off if you don't put in the hours to do so, but you still have control over that. Whereas if you work for somebody else, you don't have a job if you don't maintain the hours that they would like you to maintain. So you still have a business if you don't maintain the hours that you need to. You just either work less. You either make less, or you slow your progress down by working less, but you don't lose your own entity. You're still going to have your creative thoughts. You're still going to have the videos that you created, or the artwork that you created, or the haircuts that you've done. You still have that. You still have the ability to do so. So that's what I mean by having control over your time.
Awesome. I like the way you broke that down. And another thing I want to tap into is you mentioned something that really resonates with me. As we aspire to be an asset class. Like you say, hey, I got a great career. Hey, if I go on to have a successful corporate job, like you say, you got a pretty good job right now, but I can't give this to my son. But if I get some assets, get a business or something like that, this is something I can pass down to future generations. I think that's something that's real important in terms of having that spirit of entrepreneurship and ownership, so that we can start to develop in assets, but think about future generations. So I think that's also, a good motivation right there. Because like now, I don't have to go spend 10, 12 hours a day away from my kids, but I'm also doing something that lets me control my time, but also lets me create assets that I can pass down to future.
And also, to kind of piggyback on that, my particular reason, for wanting to control my time is being away from my child. I don't mind working. That's not a problem. However, he can sit next to me while I do my art. He can sit next to me while I build my website. He can sit next to me while I research promotions. And as he get older, he's going to be interested. He's going to want to know what I'm doing. I could teach him these things, as I grow up, things that I wasn't able to know. Like, when you and my mom was raising me, it was a different standard. So I went to college. I knew how to read, I knew how to speak well. I knew how to articulate, because that's what you taught me at that time. So now that we're moving into this new wave of trying to work for self and trying to build, the opportunity for yourself, you'll not only be able to learn from me, but you'll be able to learn from you as you continue to build your brand and continue to grow. And then, my sisters, and it's just a better position. Yeah, I'm working 10 to 12 hours, but with me working for myself, it ain't no rules on my son being able to be there, or my sister being able to sit with me while I do my website. I can't bring them to work every day. I can't do that. However, if I own my situation, if I work from home or if I work for myself, he can be right there. There's no rules against that. It's just based on my own production.
Gotcha. Now I got two things I want to pull apart. The one thing I want to pull apart is essentially, like you say, you got a current job. So, because some people have this notion that, hey, if I keep my 9 to 5, that's going to kill my entrepreneur spirit. So I want you to kind of speak to them in terms of working it the way you working it. Hey, I got my job right now, but I'm going to use some of the resources from my current job to eventually, put back and use some of that income as venture capital for my own entrepreneur thing. So kind of walk me through that process and walk the audience through the process so maybe they can get some insight on what's your strategy?
Yeah. So obviously I'm new to this, so I'm just kind of looking into different options. But basically, like you were saying, as far as working, statement you used to say to me a lot is use your 9 to 5 to get to your 5 to 9 or
Gotcha.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Use your 9 to 5 to make a living. Use your 5 to 9 to pursue your dreams.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
there you go. So you go to work obviously because you need to sustain yourself, and if you got kids, you need to take care of them. Or if you just don't want to be homeless and maybe just be unhappy, so you got things to take care of, so you do have to work. However, you use that time that you wasn't doing a lot of stuff. Maybe you call people on the phone all day. You use some of that time to build your brand. So it does take a little bit longer because you don't have 10 hours out the day to solely focus on your passion. However, 2 hours a day is still a lot. You can still get a lot done, especially if you have a platform like what I'm using, where it cuts out a lot of researching manufacturers and seeing budget costs and pricing. So my particular goal is focusing on marketing. So um, that's essentially what my job is for, is to take care of um, my living expenses, of course, and my son. But then the rest is marketing. So whether it's social media marketing, I'm looking into getting billboards and things like that. Putting posters into local businesses and seeing how we can work together and how I can assist them as well. So that's literally what my job does, is building my marketing budget to get my brand out to people.
Awesome. Awesome. And you just brought up my next sector, which is social media, which now that I'm becoming more informed about it, I really consider it more so networking and business media, especially once you really understand how you can leverage it. So I want to kind of discuss thus far, how have you been able to leverage networking and business media organically? Like, are you having to buy like a lot of, Facebook advertisements, or have you been able to, I don't know, partner up with somebody on Instagram? How does that work? Or, what part of that process? Like, I know you in the early stages,
Yeah,
but what's kind of working for you, and what do you see yourself investing in down the line?
yeah. I actually have got like an Instagram sponsor, a Facebook sponsor. I've done that twice. Um, it's good for getting eyes on you. Obviously, in sales, you need people to see things a lot of times before they actually make a decision. So with me only using it twice, it's not consistent enough as far as bringing in new business, but I have got some eyes on it. So once I continue to really blast it out in the media, it'll really help. But as far as what I do is I just be myself. I'm naturally positive. I naturally engage with people. So um, I get people to like me. My brand is not just clothes. It stands for something. If anybody see my artwork, is self-love. Obviously, I'm a Black individual, so it's Black love. Love yourself, continue to grow. Trust others that look like you, and that's what I stand for. So when people buy into my brand meaning in me, so I encourage people. I encourage engagement. I encourage motivation. So I may have positive messages that I just think of. If I see another business owner doing their thing, I just message them and say, keep grinding. I know it's hard, and I'm proud of you. So I just engage with people, and losing that pride to not reach out to people. Asking people, yo, would you mind wearing my clothing, and posting a link, and nobody's told me no. So I'm just being an open book, just being prepared for people to speak with me, and being ready to speak to other people, and constantly engage and stay invisible, and not being afraid to support somebody else. If you got something that I can support, whether it's music, if you need an art cover, I might not charge you. I might just say, hey, repost my link or buy a jacket or something. But it's just about supporting somebody else. As far as reaching out to somebody as a partnership, I have not done so yet. I do plan to do so. Um, I want to have more to offer on my end. I have reached out to people as far as wearing my merchandise. Also give them opportunity to be a part of the creation of my merchandise. Ask for feedback, what they think people would like. So I give people opportunity to work with me and becoming a part of this process. I think it helps because people feel like they did something with it, so they want to see that flourish. They feel like I was a part of that, you know, and I enjoy it. I enjoy people telling me, no, I think you should do it this way. Because the type of merchandise that is on my particular print-on-demand site is not necessarily how I dress when I get dressed up. So, which is actually another business venture that I have on my own, which I'm researching to get funding for. But that is pretty much how I do it. I just stay positive. I stay engaged, and I just uplift people. I want people to, you know, buy into me as a person, and not just the look of the clothing, because I feel like it's just more powerful if people are emotionally driven by what it stands for as opposed to how it looks. It can do a lot more.
I think that's powerful. So basically what I'm hearing is, you know, you really doing more of relationship branding. So part of your branding is about people not just buying into the art, but buying into the message, buying into the story behind it. You know, as we know, that we live in a country where we got some challenging times, especially as it pertains to the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Black violence and, you know, different issues with unarmed Black men being shot
Mm-hmm.
down by police and even, you know, just violence in the community. And that,
Exactly.
I like that positive theme as opposed to saying, hey, this is about self-love. And if we can love ourselves, we can love us. Yeah. If you don't love yourself, it's going to be hard to love anybody else. You know,
Right.
if you don't like the reflection in the mirror and you are having that hostile issue with that pain and that, you know, that brokenness that we
Mm-hmm.
haven't went back and healed, then that's the issue. So I really like that self-love as, you know, just as a powerful, like you said, emotionally based message. So I really like that. And something else that I was thinking about in terms of, like when you mentioned you want to have more to offer. I've been in that place too. So let's unpack that a bit, because I know some people may be
Okay.
thinking, oh man, you know, I'm just starting off. Like, you know, like my channel is really small right now. And so I've been still making myself say, you know what? Reach out, chance management one-on-one,
Okay.
make them ignore me, you know, make them either tell me
Exactly.
no and, you know, try again. So is this something that you would consider, like, you know, maybe because you'd be surprised, because maybe at some point in time, everybody was where we at the
Exactly.
early stage. So do you think that that's something that more of us should incorporate? Or do you think that at some point might even freeze us up? Well, I don't have nothing to offer. You know, this person got these amount of vanity metrics. They got 50,000, you know,
Yeah.
followers or 10,000 followers. And what can I offer them? Uh, and what's the dividing point between saying, okay, you know what, this person got 5,000 followers, I'm gonna reach out, versus this person got 50,000. What's kind of your mindset to say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go for it? You know, this
Yeah.
right here can make a difference.
Well, kind of take away from what you said is, I think it does freeze you up in certain aspects. I think you can do it without him, but I think you don't have to. So why do it that way? Why make it harder on yourself? And that's something that I'm working with personally. I don't even think people would say no. I'm actually more fearful they say yes, and it's a one-sided street. You know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
want to be able to assist people back, but I do understand. I'm working on my own personal pride. Whereas if you help me now, maybe I don't have nothing to offer now, but I will. You know, so I'm actually on the verge of reaching out to people now. I've started a few days ago. Just want to continue that process, and if they do help me when I do get in a position to help back, I will. As opposed to, you know, for anybody watching this who feel like you don't have enough, you will have enough. That's the reason why you're investing in yourself. That's the reason why you are reaching out. if you don't believe in yourself, you wouldn't be chasing it. So you know that you can make it. You know that you're going to make it. So as opposed to saying I don't have anything to offer, I just don't have anything to offer yet. But once they get you to where you got to go, there's no telling what connections that you'll have, what expertise that you'll have, you know, just whatever. In my particular place, I'm in clothing, so my brand might get really, really big, and it might help you with your modeling. You know, once it's big enough, you wearing my outfit and your modeling may give your modeling more light. So you may have helped me get to a certain standard, and once I get higher, I can help you back. Maybe I can't help today, but I can help going forward because I believe that I'll be in that position. So, you know, for anybody watching this, trust me, it's a fight that I have with myself all the time, thinking that I don't want anybody to help me and I can't help them. And it's not that I can't ever help them. It's just that I just feel like I should be able to help them right back. But if they're willing to help you, that means they believe in you. So you got to believe in yourself enough, too, to go for it and just ask them.
Hey, that's huge right there. Well, you know, that really taps into the whole heart of my philosophy of personal gov. You know, focusing on what you can do rather than being overwhelmed by the things you can't, right? And having that mindset of, you know what, I'm gonna do absolutely everything I can do. And so you really said something good, and the importance of believing in yourself, self-confidence. One of the things that some of my market research has been really revealing is the surprisingly a large amount, especially early entrepreneurs, millennials like yourself, they really struggle with self-doubt.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I try to challenge. I try to prick the conscience so we can say, you know what? Yeah, you know what? They might say no. But guess what? One of the most repairable body parts we have is our ego. Because often what's going to happen? Somebody going to say no. It's just like if you see that little pretty chick, you know, and hey, man, she nice looking young lady. She pretty intelligent. Okay, what's the worst thing she can do? Reject you, ignore you, not give you the time of day. So you can't exactly miss what you ain't had. Yeah, your feelings may be hurt, but at the end of the day, your ego will get over it.
It'll be cool.
You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times if we apply that logic of, hey, you know what? I've asked chicks out. Someone say, hey, you know, I ain't interested. You know, I ain't into chunky dudes. I ain't into light skinned dudes. You know how they do the light skin, dark skin stuff. You know, yeah. No, I don't do light skin. I don't do fat. I don't do bald. Whatever. You see what I'm saying? But you learn you learn to have resilience. You move on to the next.
Exactly.
If we can get people to start taking that energy and say, you know what? This sponsor said no. Coke said no. Okay, let me go check out Pepsi. Oh,
right.
Let me check out, you know, whoever. Let me go check out Starbucks. Let us take that and just roll with it and learn to kind of build that and stop being so sensitive. You know, exactly. I know we live in a world where mental health is real. I know we live in a world where a lot of us is broken. We got broken childhoods, broken relationships, broken hearts. But we have a responsibility, like you said earlier in the interview, to invest in ourselves, you know, to require meaningful and measurable growth.
Yep.
See? And that's the good thing I like about entrepreneurship, because it's something that you can measure. Hey, I want to sell this amount of t-shirts this month, or exactly. This amount of t-shirts. So now you can say, hey, this is meaningful, this is measurable, but it's not just qualitative, it's also quantitative. So it's not just about the way you feel, but you got some metrics that you can use as well.
Exactly.
So that mindset piece, I really appreciate you bringing that into the fold, because that's really that's the first key piece. If you don't believe you can do it, you're right. You can't. So you have to at least believe you can do it. So that's one of the key things that I really drill in.
If you're halfway going through it, when it gets tough, you're going to stop. You know? So if you don't really, really think you can do it, when it gets tough, when you see something that may not look right, when you get that no, you're going to stop doing it. So just really believe in yourself. It was so many things in the past that you could not do at one point in time. You could not walk at one point in time. You could not talk at one point in time. You do both of these things fluently. So just because it's a different challenge, it's a new challenge, don't mean it's an unbeatable challenge. It don't mean it's not something you can't get through. So everything was scary at one point in time. Everything. But you made it happen. So just keep going.
I like that. Now, I kind of want to expound a little bit. I want to kind of help the people that's watching here, because one of the things that I want to create in this community for early research, early stage entrepreneurs and under-resourced entrepreneurs is I want to create a networking community, right? So
Okay.
that we can be what we need. Hey, I want to network with like-minded people. I want to see, hey, this person needs this. This person does this. So I want you to really kind of flesh out what you do. Like, what's your niche? What's your target? I know you said, self-love. Talk about that. But, like, let's kind of spell it for, like, the people who don't know. Like, is it self-love? Are we just talking about black men? Are we talking about just the black family? Are we talking about people from ages 18 to 45? Break down that niche about exactly what your art, what your brand stands for, and who, the you wanted to land on.
Yeah. So I doing research, I did see that you should have actual market target audience. I don't have that yet. I'm building that. If
Okay.
I initially just looking at the type of artwork that I have, it's definitely for a younger audience. I would say 14-25, between 14 and 25. Most of my artwork and most of my clothing is definitely geared towards the black community. More urban. It's more streetwear. Definitely not. It's for people in in informal settings. Just relaxing. It's definitely designed. It's not the ultra like woke stuff. So it's not stuff like that. It's just love yourself, seeing us in a great light. So it's just seeing us look nice. Basically, just seeing us uplifted and powerful. But it's definitely a younger audience as far as the hoodies, jackets, t-shirts, beaters, swimwear. It would be between like 14, 15. I do have like kids stuff, but it was still would be probably youngest 6 or 7 years old.
Okay.
They would be able to wear it. I'm working on building that. I do have some crossover-ish stuff. I obviously don't have I don't have any other ethnicities represented because I can't represent them correctly because I'm not a part of their particular community. So I do have things that's just funny, that's general, like, I don't share food, like relationship stuff. Initially it was Black family that I was promoting. So most of it is geared towards family. I have like a mom, I matter, a dad, I matter. And then I just have, like, obviously everything is man and woman. So I'll have a woman design and a man design because it's for couples and family. So that's kind of what a lot of my work is. I do have all positive things. I don't have any, on me personally, I don't have negative, kill, shoot. I don't have stuff like that. It's just not what I am. Nothing against anybody do that. It's just not me. So mine is more so just about positivity and love. And if I did have a target market, it would definitely be black individuals between ages of like 16 and 25, 27-ish.
Okay, very good. And you done unpacked another thing for us to flesh out when you mentioned relationships. So I like to discuss that because sometimes I think people separate the dating aspect, the relation aspect from entrepreneurship. But like you said, hey, it still requires a lot of work, and yeah, you have control over your time. But I think it's even more challenging if you're working. Then you got your entrepreneurial side hustle, and then you got these relationships and or these dating things. How do you feel that's does that affect your entrepreneur thrive and focus at all? Is that something that if somebody's considering dating and stuff like that, if they're a solo entrepreneur, how serious do they got to be about this dating component? Is that something, or you just kind of be willy nilly? It just is what it is.
I think it's something that you definitely want to have knowledge of up front, as far as the demands that the business and the dating is going to have on you. Me personally, I'm just worried about the business. I just know the type of man that I would like to be, I can't be that. It's my son, and then it's my business. I don't really have enough time outside of that. I go to work, I get my son, I work on my website. That's just what I have to do. But if you are currently dating and you decide to make that jump, you definitely won't want to have that discussion, because as stated before, no work means no money. So you definitely want to let them know that this production goal that I have has to be done. So we could definitely work around the schedule, because I do have freedom of my time. However, I also have the freedom to not make any money at all if I do not work. So it's going to be nights you may have to work 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. as opposed to, a regular shift, just because that Monday you didn't do Monday's work. So you took it into Tuesday. And that's perfectly fine, as long as you have that your partner on board, and they understand, and they may help you. So they may actually cut your man hours down if they're willing to help you, full-heartedly do that situation. Because where you usually have to work 8 hours a day, maybe you can work 5, maybe you can work 4, and it'll really cut down your hours if they work with you. But even if they don't work with you because they got their own thing that they're going for, which I think is, in a sense, it's good. Both are great. You both should be moving towards something, because it brings forth a lot of boredom if your partner is not doing anything as far as creating for the future. So it brings forth a lot of boredom and a lot of you're working too much. But if they're working for something or working with you, it's going to make this process a lot easier, because they're going to understand how much you want it, and how nothing that's worth it you can do laying down all day. It's just not going to happen.
Got you. I appreciate that insight. Yeah, I agree that it's probably a lot more easier if you got somebody participating with you rather than pulling against you, or they working on whatever their project is, if they brain children and you working on your brain children. So it's not like you got somebody, oh man, I'm bored, you always, So
Yeah.
yeah, that's some real good insight. And I want to touch on another thing before we get ready to wrap it up.
Okay.
Is how important is it having a supporting cast? In terms of that whole, a lot of times people have self-doubt, and some of that comes from, because sometimes people around them, I don't know why you trying to do that. Man, you got a good job. Why don't you just keep your job and chill? So what happens when you don't have, or how do you help develop, like how have you been able to foster some good social capital, getting around a good supporting cast, whether it is a significant other, somebody you're dating, or rather it's just certain family members. How do you go about having that circle of positivity of people that's, not just going to give you fluff and bluff, but they're going to really and honestly support your efforts?
Well, I honestly just been blessed. Obviously, I don't do people wrong. So I got people that just love me and genuinely love me. I haven't gave them a reason to cut me off, but I just been blessed. Like, you, my mom, y'all always been supportive. So I didn't have to ask for that. I didn't have to foster that. My day one, y'all see my website. Oh, you got this. You're going to do it. My sisters, day one. Oh, this is amazing. You got this. I think you should do that, though. I think you can change that. That'll look a little bit better this way. Try different colors. Some of my closest friends, I just been blessed to just be in the right situation. So for individuals who have to foster it, I unfortunately don't know how it feel. I can't lie and say, well, no, you just do. I don't know how it feel to have to foster that. But I've just been in the position to always have people on my side. And for people who got people on their side, I would just say, don't lose them. Don't push them away. Don't try to cheat them. Don't, because it's your family, double charge them because you know they will, or don't lie to them because they don't know the price. Don't be purposely malicious. Don't do that, and you'll keep people in your corner that's already on your corner. For the people who don't have people in their corner, if you're watching this, message me. I'll be support. I really will, but I really don't know for that side. I can only speculate and probably say, find groups that you think may be feeling the same way that you are, and they'll be much more willing to support you because they never knew how it felt, and you also blend in with them. So maybe that's a outlet for you. People who maybe didn't have parents, or people who parents maybe didn't treat them correctly, or people whose friends didn't really care to try to go for anything. So they didn't really want them to go for it. They didn't want them to branch out and be away from them. Just try to find others that have a situation like you, so you can use them, and they'll be your new friends, and you be the same way. Don't be a one-way street as far as the support system. You support as well, and I believe that could be a good outlet for you. But I don't have great insight on that because I fortunately have people on my side out the gate.
I want to unpack some of that, and I commend you for giving your moms and me our props. You really said something that I feel like I have to weigh in, because you said it's a two-way street, and it's about reciprocity. That's important. So like, I want to actually use a real life example, because even though we talk about the mindset and stuff like that, I actually like to share real life examples so that people can see that this is not willy-nilly. This is not, oh yeah, I get tired of hearing all that, law of attraction and think positive. Well, like for instance, when I was actively in doing my do dirt doctrine, I had you do some art for me, and going through that struggle of, I went on Fiverr and got some of the work done. You did art, and I wanted to compensate you for that. And we set a tab, and you was like, "No, Dad, don't worry about it." But I wanted you to get in the habit of knowing that your art has value. I said, "No, don't do that." So I made sure that I paid you, even though just because you're my son, you'd have been willing. Hey, Dad, don't worry about it. But you got to spend your time. You got a son to feed. You got bills to pay. Because sometimes, especially in an under-resourced community, sometimes we just want to always get the hookup. But I got rent. I got bills. So my thing is, like you said, it's a two-way street. Hey, maybe I can help you here. I'm a writer. I'm a speaker. So maybe I can come speak somewhere for somebody. Maybe I can help somebody with some business consulting. Maybe somebody need some clarification on branding and developing their niche. I can help them with that. I can, they need some writing. I can do what I can. We can basically barter.
Exactly.
If you don't have money, what do you have? What currency do you have? What kind of creative currency do you have? And I just think that's really important, because that's a challenge that, people a lot of times they'll say, we don't support each other in the Black community, or we don't support each other in the Black community as much as other communities. Of course, we know the danger of doing homogenous lumping. Yeah, there are Black people that support each other. There are Black businesses that support each other. It's just that I wanted to mention that it's really important that we not just say we support, but actually support. So that means that, hey, okay, man, I don't have it all right now. But like you said, I don't have it yet. But when I get it, I'm not going to get it. And then all of a sudden, I'm diving your calls. Oh, man, that's, you know what I'm saying? Now, I wasn't diving your calls when I needed you to do that art.
Right.
Now that I done got a job and this and that, I got my income tax, and now I can't answer you. Now I'm tied up. Now I'm busy. So putting good karma, like, I always say, like my grandma used to say, deeds are seeds. So you plant good seed by doing good deeds, and as the other way around. So I just thought that was really important. So I wanted to kind of weigh in on that. The next piece I want to leave is you said contact you. How do people contact you so they can follow you and support you? How do they contact you? Leave that information for them.
Yeah. So I have an artistic email. Is JWATKII3, which basically is I'm the third. So that's just my art name. JWAT, and it's going to be 3 I's as a JWATKII symbol. So III@gmail.com. Also, my art page, JWATKII3 _art, still spelled the same way, JWATKII3 _art. That's Facebook. My regular just Facebook page, which you can contact both, just JWATKII art. This one's no 3 I's, just JWATKI and then space art, no underscore. Instagram, JWATKII3 _art. I don't have Twitter and everything yet, but I'm definitely getting that together, as well as a YouTube. Probably do some comedy artistic sketches. But if you got Facebook and Instagram, you will definitely be notified of the other pages, as well as my email. I'll definitely make sure to get that information.
Awesome, awesome. And wrapping this up for all the early stage and under-resourced entrepreneurs out here, if you had any advice, they hesitating, they dealing with doubt, or they hesitating about starting off the entrepreneurial journey, what kind of advice would you give them?
If you don't go for it, you're in the same position you're in now. If you go for it and you fail, you're in the same position you're in now. Just go for it. Because if you do make it, you'll be somewhere that you want to be. You really can't fail. You can only just not do it. That's it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much, son. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your insight. It's been wonderful. I look forward to, we'll follow up again and touch up on your journey so that you can continue to share more good side. But you you dropped a lot of jewels and a lot of stuff that I felt that definitely other entrepreneurs can tweak and glean from. And, so for anybody that's watching this, hey, what did you get out of this? What part of the interview did you like? I want you to go ahead, leave comments below if you want to contact him, see what kind of art he do. Because once again, like I said, for those who don't know, if this is your first time visiting this channel, we want to create a networking community. So if you're looking for artists, if you're looking for, you need a logo or something like that, hit my son up. And I'm not just saying it because he's my son. In part, I am because of that. But he really is a good artist. But maybe you stand for his mission, Black positivity, Black family. That's something that we need to see more of. So if you want to get in touch with him, please leave a comment, reach out to him. And and also
tag me in his dad, and if anybody say something, I'll definitely respond to him.
Okay.
If anybody say something in regards to me.
So when I put this up, I'll tag him. But yeah, please leave some comments. We want to get some engagement, and I want to see is it fruitful for you guys, and what kind of information do you need help with? What are you struggling with? Are you struggling with self-doubt? Are you struggling with the basic essentials of how do I use what I call networking and business media? Most people call it social media. It can be social media if that's what you use it for, but I'm really learning that social media is a powerful tool that we can use and figure out different ways of monetizing it. Like they're monetizing, like I shared with you the other day. They're monetizing Instagram. They're monetizing. They're using Facebook ads to reach out and sell products and services. They're starting to leverage LinkedIn more. So we want to be that hub where you come here to get with those like-minded people that's going to support you. They're going to give you some insight. They're going to give you some critique, not just criticism. Now, I'm sure eventually once our channel grows, we're going to have a few trolls that's going to be hating and so on and so forth. That's going to happen. But we really want to create a community of a bridge to resources, a bridge to making our dreams a reality. All right, so that's my time for the day. Thank you once again. And in the meantime, stay blessed, stay focused.
Yeah.
Good.